Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to the Friday Project, where myself and Russell Howell are covering every Friday the 13th movie in honor of the Crystal Lake TV show. And Russell, we've made it through three. Now we're on to four, which up to the start of this was honestly my favorite of these movies. And it's, for me, and we'll get into it, it's knocked down a bit of a peg for me, but I still like this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen this one. Good to rewatch it, and obviously, um, we now break out of order from the one, two, three order of worst. So we do that too.
With part three, we got a lot of the DNA that we would know, like Hockey Mask, like Machete. Like it's a true Jason Voorhees movie, no ifs, ands, or buts. And Friday the 13th final chapter really reinforces that, and we'll get into that. But if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe. If you're listening on audio, we'd appreciate a follow over there. With that out of the way, let's get into Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
This was directed by Joseph Zito, who would later go on to direct Invasion USA, starring the late, great Chuck Norris. He worked with Chuck Norris quite a bit, so rest in peace to him. And the movie starred Judy Aronson, Kimberly Beck, Crispin Glover, and his weird dance. We'll get to that. And a very young Corey Feldman, who becomes pretty important. Well, this character becomes pretty important to these movies going forward. And after another recap, Jason is still alive, and he is out to take out, well, another group of teens, and specifically, further than that, the Jarvis family. Specifically, a young Tommy steps into the crosshairs, played by Corey Feldman. So this is, like I said, this is the one that really, like, is supposed to be the final chapter, but it introduces a lot of story threads that would be continued into at least part 6.
Yeah. And again, because the movies were just so popular, they couldn't stop making them. You know what I mean? They were selling, and they were like, you know what, we got a good thing here. We're gonna keep it rolling. You know.
Exactly. I'm trying to find the box office haul for this because it had to have been pretty sizable if they kept going.
I got you. The budget was 2.5 million, about 2.6, and gross worldwide and U.S. and Canada, obviously 32.9. So it made some money.
Oh, pretty sizable there. But the movie opens with yet another replay. However, it's a bit of a montage of like the campfire scene from part 2. We got some stuff from part 1. So there's some connections there, and I hate that they kept doing the replays of it, but I would imagine if someone was walking into this totally blind, then I mean it's a good catch up for them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean if you look at it from the perspective of it's been a year since the last movie came out, you know what I mean? You're going in kind of like cold. I kind of get that. But also in the same time, well, yeah, would it be available by then on VHS to rent the previous one? You know what I mean? Because there was such a big gap in between when movies came out to the box office and then being released on VHS. You know what I mean? So
right.
I just didn't realize how many were like 2, 3, and 4, like all recaps. I never realized how many like recaps, and I'm curious if 5 does it.
It's been a minute since I watched 5, but I have a feeling they don't.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm just like, I just remember like, geez, like enough's enough with the recapping, man. We get it.
I mean, and to your point, like if someone maybe is fuzzy on 3 or 2 is like, okay, that's a good catch up, but like doing like the whole thing, like it's not like part 3 where it just pretty much recaps all of the ending of part 2 for you. It's at least here's what you need to know before we start. And then when we start, we get to the morgue scene, which I actually like. However, I have to say, like, when they were making Halloween 4, they must have been taking some copious notes.
Dude, I was thinking the same shit. I was thinking the same exact thing. I was thinking, yeah, I was thinking that opening scene with the ambulance and stuff. Obviously, Rob Zombie did it again in H2. How many times we filmed things in hospital settings? Definitely took a lot of notes on that for sure.
Honestly, like I said part 4, but honestly, I meant part 5 because
I was going to say,
like
I knew what you were talking about. Yeah.
Michael falls down the mine shaft and then he gets carted out, but he's not really dead. God bless us when we do the Halloween project. That'll be a real sanity test.
The thing, honestly, though, before we obviously dive into this, I think this feels more of like a fall Halloween movie, though. I feel that, like, with the vibes that you don't get from the other three. I feel like this one's more of like a Halloween-esque type, you know what I mean, feeling to it. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
The trend over the past number of years has been what's called Summerween, where it's like been a whole like focus on summer themed horror films, and there are plenty of great ones out there.
Yeah.
I would argue the original Friday trilogy definitely counts as Summerween movies. However, to your point, I agree 100%. This definitely feels the most like fall of these movies.
For sure.
And I would argue there are a couple more that fall into that category as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's just the vibes I got watching it. I just thought, I was like, man, this really feels like an October film to watch. You know what I mean? Like it just had that, had it clicking when you were just watching it. You know, and it was nice to revisit.
Absolutely, and then, like, I would say, I think one of the biggest positives for me is that Jason feels like, and to a certain extent in 2 and 3, he's felt like a big deal, but here he really feels like a big deal because literally from the jump, as soon as he gets into the morgue, he's slicing and dicing. Like Joseph Zito, to his credit, he was not messing around. There's no explanations of lore. There's no like what's lurking behind the shadow. Like literally, Jason via hockey mask and machete is just he's going to town. Like with saws. It's a brutal kill in the morgue where the one doctor, like he first saws and then just rips like to the side, just terrifying stuff there. And then like poor Crispin Glover, he gets his face nearly cleaved off, like completely off. That was brutal there too.
Did you recognize the guy at the morgue was in Police Academy? I don't know if you were a fan of watching it. Did you watch any of those?
Never seen those movies.
Oh, okay. Great comedy, by the way. Just a cheap plug on that. Those were guilty pleasures back when I was younger. Anyway, he is in several of the Police Academy films. So he obviously made cameos in the 80s. And Crispin Glover was getting his dance moves ready for the Enchantment Under the Sea. I think that's what he was doing.
Yeah, like one of the movies, this movie's lasting legacies is the spaz dance,
like spasms. Like, yeah, man.
Like Crispin Glover, though, he was in a sweet spot because like he does this, and then a year later he's in Back to the Future.
Yeah, he's George McFly a year later, man. Yeah, he had it. I mean, and that really catapulted his career too. You know.
And then he pissed it all away, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
But then this movie also introduces Tommy Jarvis, who pretty much becomes, like, for this middle portion of the Friday series, the most consistent thing, like played by Corey Feldman. And Feldman, like, I don't want to say this is his first role, but like after this, like it's off to the races. Like he does Goonies a couple years later, like and
License
just
like
Lost
to
Boys
Drive,
and
License to Drive,
Lost Boys too. Yeah, like he just
everything.
Like,
yeah, he blows up.
And like I honestly thought he did a good job. Like I
Stand by Me.
Yeah, that's his best work right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this, for a kid performance, I think he does pretty good. The fact that what we see at the ending, what happens there, I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty brave of him to do all of that.
Yeah, but to me, it's like I felt like this was rehashing the whole Ginny at the end of the Friday the 13th Part 2. You know what I mean? We're trying to get a little recognition or like, hey, Jason, you know what I mean? I'm like, we're doing this again. We're kind of rehashing it again. Do you know what I mean? That's the vibes I got. Also, the mask making type stuff, the mask collection too, also had me vibing with like Rob Zombie's Halloween with all the masks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was kind of just like a, you know what I mean, one of those homages to it, but it just had me thinking of that when I was watching this movie.
It's kind of like Part 3 where you had the one guy, Sheldon, like doing the fake outs. So like, okay, once was fine, now you're just annoying. Well, here, I honestly, there was a fake out there that actually got me for like a hot second. It was the one girl in the lake who like grabbed.
Oh, which were you gonna say?
There was a fake out with the one girl in the lake, and she pulls down her friend. Yeah. And maybe that was like Part 3 still fresh in my head with Mrs. Voorhees rising up.
The other one I liked was where our main character near the end of the film, kind of maybe like 3/4 in the film, goes in the tent and you see somebody wielding a machete and you think it's Jason, but it ends up being the guy.
Right. Yeah.
I think that was another good fake out too. Who was his sister that he's talking about?
Are you talking about Jason's sister or
no? The guy. Okay, so the guy that's looking for the kids or whatever, like the one that the main female like kind of falls for. Tommy brings him up to his room to show him his collections and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand who was he supposed to be, because he said it about his sister or something like that.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I was just. Do you remember his name in the film?
There's a guy named Rob who goes through it. Like, I don't know if that's who you're referring to.
It's probably Rob. Who was Rob's sister? I'm just kind of curious, just because of the fact that they kind of mention it, and so it says. Just so we get some continuity here. I just was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Was Sandra, a victim from Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
I did
All right.
Think about that.
I just remember hearing it when he was talking about it, and I'm like, okay, so was it somebody a little bit more, you know what I mean? Like, was it something? That's the other thing. Why would you throw that in there without it being somebody that you would recognize easily? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
be like Alice's brother, or be like, you know, Ginny's brother or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it somebody that's a little bit more, you know what I mean? They survived and we know who they are, but then they got killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to shout out who played Jason here. It was Ted White, with some stunts done by Tom Morga. And I think up to this point, we're not a Kane Hodder yet. So I stress at this point, Ted White did a great job, because I feel like he got the presence down. Like I said, Jason feels the most Jason in this. Like, he's just wrecking shop. And this cabin, I thought was a great, not the cabin, but the house, I thought was a great setting. And
for sure.
There's the one girl that just flies out of the window and lands on a car. My hips ache for you, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
I noticed one I was laughing at when he threw that one person out the window and they landed on the ground. I noticed the ground give way a little bit. So they totally had something there that was soft for the landing. Did you notice it too?
So like I said, this is where Tommy Jarvis becomes the central figure. And here through 6, it's become him versus Jason. And at the end, we might as well just get to the end, is where I guess the best explanation is Tommy Jarvis absorbs Jason's spirit, I guess, because he shaves his head and he's like, Jason, look at me. And he's Jason looks at him and is I guess there's a spirit transfer of some kind. That's my guess anyway.
I was thinking the same thing with like Ginny, like what Ginny was doing in part two, pretty much getting Jason to kind of fool him to like, hey, this is what you looked like. You know what I mean? Try to get him. I don't know. That's the vibe I got. And I don't know, spiritual, they don't really explain it. To me, it was one of those things where I think it was just like the whole traumatic episode of him, like, you know, trying to just like lashing out and just like wrecking shop on Jason. I don't know if that like, are we convinced that Tommy's like evil? Like I don't know the vibe that we go with on that one, you know what I mean? Because kind of at the end you're getting like evil vibes from like Tommy's like evil, he's possessed or whatever.
He definitely has an evil streak because when
Yeah.
you like, first of all, Jason's death is just brutal. Like just how he gets impaled by his own machete,
And then it
then
goes
like
down
his
into
head,
it. Yeah.
his head just slowly like just goes down. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to the makeup team. Like, they absolutely just earned their check right there. But then you see Tommy just like, so like there's a definite streak there, like an evil
Yeah.
streak.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely wrecks shop, but yeah, that's just the vibe. I got definitely possessed or definitely something's going on.
Absolutely. And then, of course, this is, as we know with hindsight, this is not indeed the final chapter. We would get many more movies after this. But and they even leave the door open for another one because of the strange look that Tommy gives as he's being hugged at the end. So I
Yeah.
have a feeling in like the final chapter, or is it? I feel like they
Yeah.
were planting the seeds even back in '84.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to see how well it was received. Obviously, received good enough because, I mean, at almost $2.5 million budget, makes 32, does pretty good. So obviously, they're like, you know, we have a really good thing here. Let's keep the ball rolling. So, and then this whole Tommy character, let's, you know, I mean, we obviously didn't kill him off. We have him at the end on it like a cliffhanger. Let's keep it rolling then, you know?
Yes. But to round things off for this one, I'm going to give this a great rating. It may sound generous, but like I said, this was my favorite of these movies for a while, and it took a slight dip upon this rewatch, but I still thought that Jason was just an absolute force to be reckoned with, more than any of the movies up to this point. Like, Feldman did a great job. Glover's all kinds of weird, but that's great. I just feel like if they did go out with this one, they really went out with all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, it's one of those things where Jason's already like pretty much like the table's already set. We don't have to like pretty much explain, get his hockey mask, do this and that. He's already pretty much created. He's made up already, you know. I mean, this movie's good. Don't get me wrong, but to me, like we were talking, I have the rankings at 1, 2, 4, 3. And I feel like 2 and 4 could flip either way. But as of watching this one, though, they borrowed some stuff from 2, and 2 just being the OG of the 2. I think 1, 2, 4, 3 is kind of a safe ranking right now for my Friday the 13th rankings.
Yeah, my ranking so far is 1, 4, 2, 3. And
So we're close.
like very close.
Yeah.
But what did you all think of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter? The final chapter. Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. And next week, of course, we will be covering Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, because of course it was. But Russell, thank you so much for doing this with me. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can find us Notorious by Chance on Facebook. Our latest episode, Avengers Age of Ultron, is out now. We should be shooting Ant-Man sometime this weekend to get the MCU Phase 2 out for our anticipation for Avengers Doomsday. And then you guys can also find us on Notorious by Chance on the YouTube as well.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, here on the channel next week, we'll be covering Friday the 13th Part 5, and the project rolls on. But for Russell, my name is Ryan Cam. See you all in the next one. Y'all take care.